What if I told you that some countries are growing their economies so fast they're leaving the rest of the world in the dust? Imagine doubling or even tripling your income every year. Sounds impossible, right? Well, it's happening right now in 2025. Today, we're counting down the top 20 fastest growing economies on the planet and uncovering what makes them tick. Welcome to One Good Fact. Today, you're going to learn one good fact about the fastest growing economies in 2025. Want to know which countries are set to dominate the global economy in 2025? Stick around as we reveal the top 20 fastest growing economies, and trust me, you won't believe who's number one. In an increasingly interconnected global economy, identifying the fastest growing nations provides valuable insights into emerging opportunities, investment potential, and regional trends. According to the latest projections by the International Monetary Fund, IMF, the year 2025 will see several economies outpacing the global average of 3.2% real GDP growth. Notably, Africa and Asia dominate this list, with 12 African countries and 6 Asian nations making the cut. Furthermore, the oil industry plays a pivotal role in driving growth for many of these economies. Let's delve into the details of which countries are set to grow the fastest and what factors are propelling their expansion. From oil booms to tech revolutions, let's dive into this incredible list. Number 20, Djibouti, Africa, 6.0% growth. Starting our countdown at number 20 is Djibouti. Ever heard of a tiny nation that punches way above its weight in global trade? Tiny but mighty, Djibouti controls one of the busiest trade routes on Earth. Its 6.0% growth rate proves that location truly is everything. Let's kick things off with this African powerhouse. At number 20, we have Djibouti, a small African country with a massive role in international commerce and a solid 6.0% growth rate. So, how does this little powerhouse keep growing year after year? Djibouti's 6.0% growth is no accident. It's the result of smart positioning and strategic investments. Nestled at the southern entrance to the Red Sea, Djibouti controls one of the world's busiest maritime choke points, the Bab el-Mandeb Strait. This narrow waterway connects the Indian Ocean to the Mediterranean via the Suez Canal, making Djibouti a critical hub for global shipping. But it's not just about location. Djibouti has transformed itself into a logistics and infrastructure giant. The Doraleh multi-purpose port, one of the most advanced ports in Africa, handles millions of tons of cargo annually. Add in free trade zones and partnerships with global powers like China, and you've got a recipe for sustained economic expansion. To understand Djibouti's success, you need to look at its history. Once a French colony, the country gained independence in 1977. For decades, it struggled with poverty and unemployment. But in recent years, Djibouti has capitalized on its geographic blessings. It's become a gateway for landlocked Ethiopia, which relies heavily on Djiboutian ports to export coffee, oilseeds, and other goods. The government has also embraced bold projects. Take the Addis Ababa-Djibouti Railway, for example, a $4 billion investment linking Ethiopia's capital to Djibouti's ports. This railway not only boosts regional trade, but also creates jobs and strengthens ties between the two nations. Beyond logistics, Djibouti is betting big on tourism and renewable energy. Its stunning landscapes, like Lake Assal, one of the saltiest lakes in the world, draw adventurous travelers. Meanwhile, plans for solar and wind farms aim to reduce reliance on imported energy while attracting green investors. Of course, challenges remain. High unemployment, especially among youth, continues to plague the nation. Debt levels are also a concern, as many of these mega projects were financed through loans. However, Djibouti's leadership remains optimistic, focusing on long-term gains over short-term hurdles. From controlling key trade routes to building futuristic infrastructure, Djibouti proves that size doesn't matter when you're strategically positioned. But wait, there's more where that came from. Stick around as we explore another rising star in our countdown. Factories buzzing, rice paddies thriving, and tech hubs innovating, Vietnam is proving that determination and discipline can turn any nation into a global player. Number 19, Vietnam, Asia, 6.1% growth. Continuing our countdown at number 19 is Vietnam, a country that's quietly become a manufacturing powerhouse. But how did Vietnam go from war-torn history to economic dynamo? Vietnam's projected growth rate of 6.1% in 2025 isn't accidental. It's the result of decades of smart policies. Known as the factory floor of Southeast Asia, Vietnam produces everything from Nike shoes to Samsung smartphones. Its strategic location near China and low labor costs make it irresistible to global companies looking to diversify supply chains. But there's more to Vietnam than cheap factories. The government has invested heavily in infrastructure and education, ensuring workers are skilled enough to meet modern demands. Plus, tourism plays a big role here too. Stunning landscapes like Ha Long Bay bring millions of visitors annually, boosting local businesses. So why does this matter? Because Vietnam proves that with vision and hard work, any nation can rise above its challenges. And trust me, this won't be the last time you hear about Vietnam's success story. Now, moving up the ladder, who comes next? Let's find out. Islands, smiles, and skyrocketing remittances, this tropical archipelago knows how to grow even in challenging times. Discover the secrets behind the Philippines' success. At number 18, we have the Philippines, a tropical paradise with an economy hotter than its summer heat. How does a country known for beaches also rank among the fastest-growing economies? With a 6.1% growth rate, the Philippines thrives on two fronts: overseas remittances and domestic consumption. Millions of Filipinos working abroad send billions back home, fueling household spending. Meanwhile, a young, vibrant population drives demand for goods and services. Tech innovation is another game changer. Call centers and IT outsourcing have turned Manila into a hub for global customer service. Add in booming industries like real estate and retail, and you've got a recipe for rapid expansion. Of course, challenges remain. Corruption and inequality still plague parts of the country. But despite these hurdles, the Philippines keeps pushing forward, proving resilience pays off. Ready for the next contender? Stick around. Chocolate lovers, rejoice. Cocoa fuels this West African nation's impressive growth. But there's much more to Côte d'Ivoire than meets the cocoa bean. Coming in at number 17, we have Côte d'Ivoire, a West African gem often overshadowed by its neighbors, but quietly building an economic powerhouse. So what's behind this impressive 6.4% growth rate? Côte d'Ivoire's success story starts with cocoa, the key ingredient in your favorite chocolate bar. As the world's largest producer of cocoa beans, the country has mastered the art of turning agriculture into profit. But it doesn't stop there. Diversification efforts are paying off, with industries like construction, telecommunications, and financial services booming. The government has also invested heavily in infrastructure. New roads, bridges, and energy projects have made life easier for citizens while attracting foreign investors. Add in a stable political climate compared to some of its neighbors, and you've got a recipe for sustained growth. Still, challenges remain. Poverty and inequality persist, especially in rural areas. But if Côte d'Ivoire continues on this path, it could become a model for other African nations. Next up, imagine this. A billion dreams, countless startups, and tech that's changing the world. As we approach the top half of our countdown, India reminds us why it's a global leader. Landing at number 16 is none other than India, the world's largest democracy and soon-to-be third-largest economy. Can you guess what's powering this massive growth engine? India's 6.5% growth stems from its unique blend of tradition and technology. As one of the youngest nations globally, with over half its population under 30, India boasts a workforce ready to take on tomorrow's jobs. Tech hubs like Bangalore churn out startups faster than Silicon Valley, while Bollywood and cricket keep spirits high. Manufacturing is also surging thanks to initiatives like Make in India, which encourages local production. Agriculture remains vital too, employing nearly half the workforce. And don't forget digital payments. India leads the world in mobile banking adoption. While poverty persists, India's sheer size and ambition mean it's not just surviving, it's thriving. Wow, we've already covered some incredible stories, from oil booms to tech revolutions. But we're just getting started. Hit that like button if you're learning something new, and let's keep going. Next up, we'll explore a tiny country making waves worldwide. We're heading to East Africa for another fascinating economy. Keep watching. Next up, this is what rising up from the ashes like a phoenix looks like. Once scarred by tragedy, today celebrated for transformation. Rwanda's 6.5% growth rate tells a story of hope, resilience, and vision. Don't miss this inspiring tale. At number 15, we land in Rwanda, a country once devastated by tragedy but now emerging as one of Africa's most innovative economies. How did Rwanda achieve a projected growth rate of 6.5%? Rwanda's transformation is nothing short of remarkable. After the genocide in 1994, the nation rebuilt itself from scratch, focusing on technology, sustainability, and governance. Today, Kigali, the capital, is known as Africa's cleanest city and a hub for startups. Tourism plays a huge role too. Visitors flock to see endangered mountain gorillas in Volcanoes National Park, injecting millions into the local economy. Meanwhile, coffee and tea exports keep agricultural revenues flowing. What sets Rwanda apart is its leadership. President Paul Kagame's vision for a Singapore of Africa has driven bold reforms, including digital ID systems and cashless payments. While critics argue about human rights concerns, there's no denying Rwanda's progress. Next up, this African nation prides itself on the distinction of never having been colonized by European powers. Home to ancient history and cutting-edge innovation, Ethiopia is bridging the past and future with remarkable growth. Stay tuned to learn how. Landing at number 14 is Ethiopia, a country steeped in ancient history but charging full speed ahead into the modern era. With a 6.5% growth rate, how is Ethiopia pulling this off? Ethiopia's rise is fueled by industrialization and urbanization. Industrial parks across the country churn out textiles and garments destined for global markets. Addis Ababa, the bustling capital, serves as a gateway for trade between Africa and Asia. Agriculture remains king, employing nearly 70% of Ethiopians. Coffee, the nation's pride, dominates export earnings. Yet ambitious infrastructure projects like the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam showcase long-term thinking. Challenges abound, though. Ethnic tensions and debt levels pose significant hurdles. However, Ethiopia's determination to overcome obstacles keeps it moving forward. Curious about who's next? Let's keep counting down. Strategic trade routes, booming agriculture, and a youthful population. Benin Republic checks all the boxes for success. Let's uncover what makes this West African star shine. Next up, we stay to Africa for a tale of resilience and recovery. Stay tuned. At number 13, we find Benin Republic, a small West African nation punching far above its weight. How does Benin Republic manage a robust 6.5% growth rate despite its size? Benin Republic thrives thanks to its strategic location. Sandwiched between Nigeria and Togo, it acts as a trade corridor, exporting goods through the port of Côte. Cotton production particularly drives much of its economy. But Benin Republic isn't resting on its laurels. Reforms under President Patrice Talon have streamlined business operations, making it easier to start companies and attract investors. Infrastructure upgrades like new highways further boost connectivity. That said, poverty and limited resources challenge Benin Republic's ambitions. Nevertheless, its steady growth shows that smart policies can yield big results. Ready for more surprises? We're just getting started. Copper wires power our gadgets, but did you know they're powering Zambia's economy too? Learn how this southern African nation is sparking change. At number 12, we head back to Africa to explore Zambia, a landlocked nation with vast natural resources and a projected growth rate of 6.6%. So what's behind this impressive performance? Zambia's economy is deeply rooted in mining, specifically copper, which accounts for over 70% of its export earnings. As global demand for electric vehicles surges, so does the need for copper wiring, giving Zambia a golden opportunity. But it's not just about mining. The government has launched initiatives to diversify the economy, focusing on agriculture and tourism. The breathtaking Victoria Falls alone draws thousands of tourists annually, injecting millions into local businesses. That said, Zambia faces significant hurdles. Debt crises and power shortages have hampered progress in recent years. However, recent debt restructuring deals and investments in renewable energy signal a brighter future. Now let's shift gears and head to Asia for another powerhouse. Keep watching. Vast steppes, endless skies, and mineral wealth beyond imagination. At number 11, Mongolia shows us how natural resources can fuel a nation's rise. Landing at number 11 is Mongolia, a rugged, sparsely populated country with a whopping 7% growth rate. How does such a remote nation achieve such rapid expansion? The answer lies beneath its vast steppes: minerals. Mongolia sits on some of the world's largest deposits of coal, copper, and gold. The Oyu Tolgoi mine, one of the largest copper-gold projects globally, is a major driver of growth. Yet Mongolia isn't just relying on mining. Efforts to boost livestock exports, cashmere wool in particular, are gaining traction. Tourism is also on the rise, thanks to its unique nomadic culture and pristine landscapes. Challenges persist, though. Environmental concerns and reliance on China as a trading partner pose risks. Still, Mongolia's resilience and resource wealth make it a standout performer. Halfway through the countdown, and the surprises just keep coming. If you're loving this journey through the world's rising stars, don't forget to subscribe for more videos like this. Let's dive into the top 10. Next up, we're heading to Bhutan, a tiny kingdom with big dreams. Happiness isn't just a slogan here. It's a policy driving growth. This Himalayan kingdom blends tradition with modernity like no other. Let's dive into Bhutan's inspiring story. At number 10, we find Bhutan, a serene Himalayan kingdom known for prioritizing happiness over GDP. With a 7.2% growth rate, how does Bhutan balance tradition with modernity? Bhutan maintains its reputation as a sustainable development leader, achieving a 7.2% growth rate through hydropower exports, tourism, and prudent fiscal policies. Bhutan's success hinges on hydropower. Its rivers generate clean electricity, much of which is exported to India, bringing in substantial revenue. This sustainable approach aligns perfectly with its philosophy of gross national happiness. Tourism plays a role too. Visitors flock to experience Bhutan's untouched beauty and spiritual heritage, from tiger's nests to monasteries perched on cliffs. Strict visitor policies ensure tourism benefits locals without harming the environment. Despite its achievements, Bhutan grapples with youth unemployment and limited infrastructure, but its commitment to sustainability offers lessons for the entire world. Curious about who's next? Let's keep counting down. Gambling hubs aren't all glitz and glamour. They're also engines of growth. Next up, we head to Asia for a dazzling display of resilience and reinvention. Coming in at number 9 is Macao, a glittering gambling hub with a dazzling 7.3% growth rate. How does this small Chinese territory maintain such incredible momentum? As a special administrative region of China, Macao's gaming and tourism industries drive its high growth rate of 7.3%. Post-pandemic recovery and renewed international travel demand play key roles here. Macao's story revolves around casinos, hotels, and entertainment. Often called the Las Vegas of Asia, it attracts high rollers worldwide, fueling its economy. Post-pandemic recovery has reignited international travel, boosting revenues even further. However, Macao isn't putting all its chips on gaming. Efforts to diversify include expanding conventions, cultural festivals, and family-friendly attractions. Its proximity to mainland China ensures steady foot traffic. While dependence on gambling poses risks, Macao's strategic location and adaptability keep it thriving. Up next, we're returning to Africa for a tale of resilience and ambition. Don't miss it! Landlocked and resource-rich, this Saharan nation is defying odds and shining bright in 2025. Find out why Niger Republic deserves every bit of attention at number 8. At number 8, we spotlight Niger Republic, a Saharan nation defying odds with a 7.3% growth rate. How does one of the world's poorest countries achieve such remarkable progress? Rich in uranium and other mineral resources, Niger Republic's economy is projected to grow by 7.3%. Infrastructure improvements and regional trade initiatives further support its developmental agenda. Niger Republic's growth is fueled by uranium mining, a critical component in nuclear energy production. France, its largest trading partner, relies heavily on Nigerian uranium. Agriculture also contributes significantly, with crops like millet and cowpeas feeding millions. Infrastructure development is another key factor. New roads and railways funded by international partners are improving connectivity and trade. Education reforms aim to equip citizens with skills needed for tomorrow's jobs. Challenges abound, including terrorism threats and desertification. Yet, Niger Republic's determination to overcome adversity inspires hope across the continent. Ready for more surprises? Let's continue our countdown. From gorillas to gold, this East African powerhouse is diversifying its economy faster than ever before. With a 7.5% growth rate, Uganda is proving there's more to Africa than meets the eye. Landing at number 7 is Uganda, a vibrant East African nation with a 7.5% growth rate. What makes Uganda stand out among its peers? Uganda's economy benefits from strong agricultural output, expanding manufacturing capabilities, and recent oil discoveries in its Albertine Rift Basin. These factors collectively push its growth rate to 7.5%. Uganda's economy benefits from diversity. Agriculture remains strong, with coffee, tea, and maize leading exports. Meanwhile, oil discoveries in the Albertine Rift Basin promise transformative growth once production begins. Manufacturing and services are expanding too. Kampala, the capital, buzzes with startups and tech innovators. Infrastructure projects like expressways and hydroelectric dams support long-term development. That said, corruption and bureaucratic red tape hinder progress. Still, Uganda's youthful population and entrepreneurial spirit bode well for the future. Next, we'll uncover an African star shining brightly on the global stage despite adversity. Gold mines, fertile lands, and untapped potential. Our next contender is rebuilding itself brick by brick. Discover how Sudan is turning adversity into opportunity. At number 6, we return to Africa for Sudan, a nation rebuilding after years of turmoil. With an 8.3% growth rate, how is Sudan turning things around? Despite facing significant socio-political challenges, Sudan is poised for substantial growth at 8.3%. Agricultural reforms, coupled with efforts to attract foreign direct investment, are helping diversify its economy beyond traditional sectors like gold mining and livestock. Sudan's revival centers on agriculture. Known as the breadbasket of Africa, it produces sorghum, wheat, and livestock. Gold mining has also emerged as a lucrative sector, attracting foreign investors. Political changes post-revolution have opened doors for reforms. Debt relief under the Heavily Indebted Poor Countries Initiative allows more funds for development. Challenges persist, especially in conflict-prone regions. But Sudan's potential is undeniable, provided stability endures. Now we're entering the final stretch. The top 5 fastest-growing economies in 2025. These nations are rewriting the rules of success. Stay tuned because you do not want to miss what's next. Now let's dive into a Pacific island making waves worldwide. You won't want to miss this. After exploring bustling cities and vast landscapes, let's take a detour to paradise. How does a tiny island nation achieve an 8.5% growth rate? The answer lies beneath its turquoise waters. Claiming number 5 is Palau, a tiny archipelago in the Pacific Ocean with a stunning 8.5% growth rate. How does such a small nation achieve outsized success? Palau's lifeline is tourism. Pristine coral reefs, turquoise waters, and eco-friendly policies attract nature lovers globally. Visitors eager to dive or snorkel inject cash into local economies. The small Pacific island nation of Palau ranks 5th with an impressive growth rate of 8.5%. Tourism remains its primary economic driver, supported by strategic partnerships aimed at enhancing visitor experiences and environmental sustainability. Sustainability is central to Palau's strategy. It was the first country to ban sunscreen harmful to marine life and requires visitors to sign an eco-pledge upon arrival. These measures protect its natural assets while enhancing appeal. Of course, remoteness limits opportunities, but Palau's focus on conservation proves that small nations can punch above their weight. Next, we'll uncover a West African star shining brightly on the global stage. Stay with us. Curious about who rounds out the top 4? Let's keep going. What happens when stability meets ambition? This West African nation is showing us exactly that, and its 9.3% growth rate speaks volumes. Ready to meet Senegal? At number 4, we meet Senegal, a beacon of stability and innovation in West Africa, boasting an impressive 9.3% growth rate. How did Senegal pull this off? Senegal continues to shine as one of West Africa's brightest economic stars with a forecasted growth rate of 9.3%. Diversified investments in agriculture, mining, and renewable energy contribute to its steady upward trajectory. Additionally, large-scale infrastructure projects like the Dakar Regional Express train further enhance its growth momentum. Senegal's secret lies in smart planning. The emerging Senegal Plan outlines ambitious goals for infrastructure, education, and industry. Projects like the Dakar Regional Express train showcase its commitment to modernization. Agriculture thrives here too, with peanuts, fish, and phosphate driving exports. Tourism, centered around Gorée Island and coastal beaches, adds to the mix. What sets Senegal apart is governance. Stable leadership and anti-corruption measures foster trust among investors. Challenges remain, but Senegal's trajectory is undeniable. Next up, we reveal the bronze medalist in our countdown. Stay tuned! Oil has been a recurring theme in our countdown, but this next country proves that recovery after conflict can lead to explosive growth. Stay tuned to see how Libya climbed back into the spotlight. Taking the bronze medal at number 3 is Libya, a nation rising from the ashes with an explosive 13.7% growth rate. So, how did Libya manage to rebuild its economy so quickly after years of chaos? How did Libya secure a staggering 13.7% growth rate? The answer is simple yet complex. Oil. Libya holds Africa's largest proven oil reserves, and as global energy prices climbed, so did Libya's fortunes. Efforts to stabilize production following years of conflict have paid dividends, with exports rebounding strongly. Libya's resurgence is tied directly to its hydrocarbon sector. Oil and gas dominate the economy, accounting for nearly all export revenue. Recent efforts to stabilize production after years of conflict have paid off handsomely. But it's not just about hydrocarbons. The Libyan government has begun investing in infrastructure, repairing roads, restoring electricity grids, and reviving schools and hospitals. These projects aim to lay the groundwork for long-term recovery beyond oil dependency. Still, challenges loom large. Political fragmentation and security threats remain significant barriers. Corruption and inefficiency also hinder progress. Yet Libya's current trajectory shows that even nations battered by turmoil can find pathways to renewal, if they leverage their natural advantages wisely. However, Libya's journey hasn't been smooth. Political divisions and security issues still linger. Yet, the government is working to repair damage and diversify beyond oil. Renewable energy initiatives hint at a greener future. While questions remain about sustainability, Libya's current trajectory proves that recovery is possible even after chaos. Now let's zoom over to South America for a surprising contender. Brace yourself. We're about to reveal the runner-up in our countdown. Who could possibly beat Libya's incredible comeback story? Let's find out. We just uncovered an African giant, but now we're crossing oceans to explore a small South American nation making waves with offshore riches. Who is this hidden gem? Let's find out. Jumping continents and claiming the silver medal at number 2 is none other than Guyana, a small South American nation making headlines worldwide. This small South American nation might not be on everyone's radar, but with a jaw-dropping growth rate, it's impossible to ignore. With a mind-blowing 14.4% growth rate, what's fueling this explosive and unprecedented surge? Although not part of Africa or Asia, Guyana stands out as the second fastest-growing economy globally. Its rapid ascent is fueled by massive offshore oil discoveries, transforming it into one of the world's most promising oil producers. Investments in infrastructure and public services are also expected to bolster long-term growth prospects. Guyana's meteoric rise begins with oil, lots of it. Massive offshore discoveries in recent years transformed this once obscure country into one of the world's most promising energy producers. ExxonMobil and other giants are pouring billions into exploration and extraction, creating jobs and boosting GDP overnight. But Guyana isn't resting on its laurels. The government has pledged to use oil revenues responsibly, channeling funds into education, healthcare, and sustainable development. Renewable energy initiatives hint at efforts to balance fossil fuel wealth with environmental stewardship. That said, rapid growth brings risks. Corruption scandals and environmental concerns threaten to derail progress unless transparency and accountability improve. Still, Guyana's potential is undeniable, a true rags-to-riches tale unfolding before our eyes. For a country that was once among the poorest in Latin America, this is a game-changer. Of course, rapid wealth brings risks. Corruption and environmental damage loom large, unless careful planning prevails. Still, Guyana's future looks brighter than ever. And now, drum roll, please. It's time to unveil the fastest-growing economy in the world for 2025. Are you ready? Who takes the crown as the fastest-growing economy in 2025? From oil fields to economic miracles, we've seen some incredible stories so far. But now it's time to reveal the #1 fastest-growing economy in the world for 2025. Spoiler alert, it's jaw-dropping. Claiming the #1 spot is South Sudan, with a mind-blowing 27.2% growth rate. But how does a young nation plagued by instability achieve such extraordinary numbers? Topping the list is South Sudan, with an astonishing projected growth rate of 27.2%. Once again, oil takes center stage. Oil is the golden ticket here. Despite ongoing conflicts, South Sudan has ramped up crude oil production, riding high on global demand. South Sudan sits atop vast reserves of crude oil, which accounts for over 90% of its revenue. Increased production levels and higher global prices have sent its economy soaring. International partnerships and investments have helped stabilize output, bringing much-needed cash flow. This remarkable surge is primarily attributed to its burgeoning oil sector, which accounts for over 90% of the country's revenue. Despite ongoing challenges such as political instability and infrastructure deficits, increased oil production and higher global energy prices have positioned South Sudan as the world's fastest-growing economy in 2025. Beyond oil, agriculture holds untapped potential. Maize, sorghum, and livestock farming could diversify the economy and reduce reliance on petroleum. Education and healthcare improvements are slowly taking root, offering hope for future generations. However, South Sudan's journey is far from smooth. Clearly, South Sudan faces monumental challenges. Corruption, violence, and weak institutions threaten gains. Poverty remains widespread, and infrastructure deficits hinder progress. Yet its meteoric rise reminds us that resource wealth can propel nations to new heights if managed wisely. And that concludes our countdown of the world's fastest-growing economies in 2025. And there you have it, the fastest-growing economies in the world for 2025. From South Sudan's oil boom to Guyana's offshore riches, these nations prove that resilience and opportunity often go hand in hand. Which country surprised you the most? Share your thoughts below and don't forget to subscribe for more insightful videos. Wow, what an incredible journey through the world's fastest-growing economies. We've seen how countries across Africa and Asia are leveraging resources, innovation, and sheer determination to defy expectations and reshape their futures. Whether it's South Sudan's oil fields or Vietnam's factories, every nation on this list has a unique story worth celebrating. So, which country surprised you the most? Did your favorite make the cut? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into global trends and fascinating facts. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring the world around you.